Hey guys, it's Susanna. So, you may be asking this question right now. Susanna, why haven't you posted a video all week? Why didn't you post your Top 5 Wednesday video? Why are you wearing a sweatshirt in July? Why is your bed such a mess? Why does your hair look all gross and greasy? Well, you know what? To the last question, I will tell you, sir, that is rude. Don't ask anybody that question because that is very rude. To the other questions, I can answer them all with one singular phrase, and that is life is strange. To some of you, I may have just touched your souls. You may have thought to yourself, wow, Susanna, you're right. Life is strange. I don't know what I'm doing with anything. I don't know what any of us are doing. What are we doing? Life is so strange. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. I am talking about the video game Life is Strange. It's an episodic video game made by Don't Nod Entertainment. I had plans to make a video for almost every single day this week. I was gonna make one for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Obviously that didn't work out since you're watching this video on a Friday, I think, unless you watch this on a different day. I am posting this video on a Friday, and so what happened is that episode 4 of Life is Strange came out, and it consumed my soul, just a little bit, and I haven't done anything else since it came out besides play Life is Strange and cry over Life is Strange and go on Tumblr and read all about how other people are crying over Life is Strange. And I could make an entire video just about episode 4 of Life is Strange, and you know what, as I'm saying those words right now, I may actually just do that. But I'm not here to talk to you guys about Life is Strange. I am here to talk to you guys today about reading, and more specifically, I want to share with you guys my July wrap-up. Now, you see, there are 4 books here. I read 5. I cannot find the 5th book, which is an issue since it's a library book. And I've been looking for like 10 minutes and I cannot find this 5th book. So I'm going to talk to you about it without actually holding the book. And when it's due at the library, I will just burn that bridge when I get to it. Anyways, this is my July wrap-up. Okay guys, so the first book that I read in July was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And I did a complete book review of it, and so if you want to hear like all my thoughts and theories, you can go watch that video. I'll link it down below, or maybe I'll do like that cool thing where you like put it on the screen right here. If I can't figure out how to do this, I'm gonna look like an idiot right now, but if I do figure out how to do this, you can click like right here and go watch that video. So yeah, I read a library copy of this book and I loved it so much that I ordered a copy of it for myself, and I also ordered the second book, Crown of Midnight, which I have not yet read. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars, I think. I honestly don't remember, but it was very good and I recommend you go pick it up if you like fantasy. The next book that I read in July was Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Now, oh my goodness, this book was amazing. I think this is probably one of the first new adult books that I've read, and if it isn't, then like I didn't ever realize that the other books that I read were new adult. But yeah, this is a new adult like sci-fi type book. It's like if DC had the rights to X-Men and then just changed it up a bit. That's kind of what this book is like. Basically, what goes on in this story is that there were 2 college roommates, Victor and Eli, and they experimented with trying to become EOs, which are extraordinaries, because Eli decided to start a report on the discovering of EOs and if they actually exist. And so with the help of his roommate Victor, they try to see if they can prove that they do exist. And so while that's going on, you jump 10 years into the future where Victor, Eli's roommate, has just broken out of prison with his cellmate Mitch. and they and another girl named Sydney are trying to go and hunt Eli down and get revenge on him. And so it's kind of a dual narrative where you are trying to figure out what happened 10 years ago while you're following Eli, Mitch, and Sydney trying to catch Eli. I definitely recommend it, especially if you're new to the new adult genre, which I am. So if you're looking for something like that, I highly recommend it. I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. It's still like really good in my rating system, 3 out of 5 stars. I recommend it. Go pick it up. The next book that I read was 100 Miles Sideways by Andrew Smith. Now, honestly, I've heard a lot of amazing things about this book. I heard so much praise. I heard so many booktubers and book reviewers and Goodreads people alike loving this book and loving Andrew Smith and calling him their favorite author. And so I picked this book up, and honestly, I wasn't that impressed. I think I would have liked the book more if I hadn't read the book jacket and the book summary, because I feel like what the book summary promised and what the story was actually about were two very, very different things. And I honestly think that the book summary version would have been a much better story than the one we actually got. And that's just my personal opinion. If you loved this book, that's great. But I didn't love it. I went into it with high expectations, and it didn't really deliver. I don't know if I'm gonna try more of Andrew Smith's novels in the future, but I just know I didn't really like this one. It didn't feel like a coherent story because it didn't feel like any characters grew throughout, and the characters themselves were interesting, but just the way the story went and what I felt happened throughout all of it, it didn't wow me. So this book is about a boy named Finn, and he is an epileptic who tells time through miles instead of seconds or minutes or hours. He tracks how long a certain time period has been by the number of miles that have passed and how many miles the Earth has traveled since that event. And he's got a best friend named Cade, and Cade is like god of the school. Everybody loves him, and he does some wacky stuff. And then Finn is in love with this girl named Julia. And that's all I'm gonna tell you, because honestly, I feel like if you want to read this book, read it without knowing anything about this book, especially don't read the book jacket, because I personally would have liked the book better if I didn't read the book jacket. So the next book that I read is the book that I cannot find. I really don't know where it could be, and that's an issue that I will deal with at a certain point. The next book that I read was Angelfall by Susan E. Now, I was very impressed with myself that I got through this book without crying or screaming or throwing up, because I have this thing with cannibalism where I am terrified of it, and I've been terrified by it since I was like 5. I tried to read the book Gone by Michael Grant, and I kind of flipped out a little bit, if you know anything about that series. Kind of had a bit of a meltdown, and it wasn't good. It wasn't pretty. But I think I'm getting better, because I made it through the entire book of Angelfall without crying or screaming or throwing up or getting sick or anything, and I'm very proud of myself for being able to do that. Basically, Angelfall is a post-apocalyptic novel written from the point of view of Penryn. And Penryn lives with her mom and her younger sister Paige, and they are living in a world that I think it was 60 days? I think it was 60 days since the apocalypse. And the apocalypse was when all of God's angels came down to Earth, and they were trying to deliver a message, but then our people killed Gabriel, who was the messenger of God, and now there's total chaos, and all of the humans are terrified of these angels. They're absolutely terrified, because honestly, they are horrible. They are like massacring the people. They're destroying lives. The world is run by gangs and angels. It's not a good world. And so Penryn and her mom and her sister Paige are trying to move locations when they witness an angel being executed. And the angel sees, one of the angels who's executing sees them and takes Paige, the little sister, and runs away. And Penryn goes over to the angel who was executed. He got his wings cut off, and she goes over to him and she helps him and she saves his life. And she's like, okay, I'm saving your life, but I need you to tell me where my sister is and where your buddies or whatever took her, or else I'm gonna let you die. And so they form this like unlikely partnership, and he wants to get his wings back and she wants to get her sister back. And I really liked this book. I read it in one sitting because I read it during a car ride to the beach, and so I read it in like about one sitting, and it was very good. It was a lot more violent than I expected it to be, which I guess is okay because I think they handled the violence well. My gosh, that plot twist at the end, I did not see that coming at all. Overall, it was a very good book. I very much enjoyed it. I can't remember if I gave it 3 or 4 stars. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 3 or 4, one of those two. Those are pretty. 3s and 4s are very interchangeable on my rating scale, so it was one of those two. It was very good. I haven't read World After, but it's on my to-read list, and I hope I can get it soon. And the last book that I read this month was A Darker Shade of Magic, also by V.E. Schwab, who wrote Vicious, which I also read this month. I really, really liked A Darker Shade of Magic. Did I like it more than Vicious? I really don't know. I don't remember if I gave this a higher rating than Vicious. I may have, just because I'm much more involved with the characters in this story. I feel like this book didn't have as strong a plot as Vicious did, but I think it has stronger, more relatable characters than Vicious did. And so I liked both of them very, very much for different reasons. I liked Vicious for the plot. I liked this for the characters. Because honestly, this book is like a juvenile rendition of Lord of the Rings, but with rocks and alternate dimensions instead of rings and one really awesome fantasy world. So basically, if you do not know, A Darker Shade of Magic is about a traveler named Kel. And Kel is an Antari, which is a traveler. And he is one of the last few people in the world who can travel between the 4 different worlds, which are Red London, White London, Grey London, and Black London. And those worlds have been sealed off from each other, but Kel, he can travel between these worlds. Now, Black London has since been sealed off. It is a fallen world, and Kel is from Red London, which is the London of magic. Grey London does not have any magic, and it is most parallel to our own London in our real world, but it takes place in some like Victorian type era. And then White London is like Red London in that it has magic, but it was the closest to Black London when it fell, and so it is now very corrupt and evil, and it's dying, basically. So in this novel, Kel travels between Grey, Red, and White London, and when he is trying to return back to his home from White London to Red London, a woman comes up to him and gives him this mysterious package and tells him that he needs to deliver it to Red London, and he does it because he's a smuggler, and it ends up being a relic from Black London, and a bunch of people are after him, and he's got to go and get rid of this and send it back to Black London because everybody is going to want this powerful piece of magic from the corrupt Black London. This was a very, very good book. It was very, very character strong. I loved all the characters except possibly Lila, and if I didn't like her, it was only at first because I felt she was very much the epitome of, oh, I'm better than other girls. I don't ever want to be like other girls. I don't like them, and I don't like characters like that. Anyways, I liked this book very much. So much love for Holland and Rye and Kel and everybody, mostly Holland. kind of want to see him in the next book. I'm going to be very, very sad. Hoping that we can see him in the next book. Anyway guys, that is my July wrap up where I read these 5 books with the 5th being an imaginary placeholder right now. But yeah, so that was my video. Let me know if you have read any of these books. Let me know what your thoughts on these books were. Let me know if you've played Life is Strange and if your life has been ripped apart by this last episode like my life was. Just leave your thoughts down below. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it.